Alright, so today we got our first look at the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. We got quite a lot of information actually, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool set. This set in particular is one that I've been looking forward to for quite a while, because I'm a pretty big fan of the plane of Ixalan. I've been wanting to go back to it. I also just kind of like dinosaurs in general. But for the new Ixalan set, we've got a lot to unpack today, so let's get into some of these new cards here. We'll start off with some of the new cards, but there are also quite a few very important reprints as well. This one though, Ghalta Stampede Tyrant. So this is a new version of Ghalta. This one is an 8 mana 12/12 trample. The old Ghalta was a 12/12 trample. This one though says when it enters the battlefield, put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is a mythic from the set proper. It feels like a mythic. It's very powerful. A lot of the time, especially in Commander, I guess, if you play this, it basically would say you win the game depending on how you've set your hand up. But yeah, this is a very cool card. I think it's powerful. I'm looking forward to putting it in my Gishath deck. Here's another new one, Huatli, Poet of Unity. So no longer a Planeswalker, I guess. It's another mythic. So the creature part of this card doesn't look that great, but it's a flip card, and on the other side, it's much better. On this side, though, it's a 3 mana, 2/3 legendary creature, human warrior bard. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. Then for 5 mana, you can exile it and return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner's control. And it comes back transformed as this saga with 4 modes to it. So for the first mode, you get 2 3/3 green dinosaur creature tokens. That's actually pretty good for paying 5 mana into flipping it. You know, you get 6 power and toughness spread over 2 creatures. That's not bad. For the second mode, this saga gains creatures you control have tap, add red, white, or green, so Naya basically. For the third mode, you get to tutor out a dinosaur from your deck and put it into your hand. And for the fourth one, dinosaurs you control gain double strike and trample until end of turn. So once again, this slots right into the Gishath deck. This is a really powerful card in Commander. Specifically in dinosaur decks, it does a lot, because it's an early card that you can play for just 3 mana, which is important because in the dinosaur decks, you know, a lot of your cards cost 7, 8, 9 mana. This one was only 3. It smooths out your mana curve because it allows you to tutor basic land and put it into your hand. Then also, though, it gets you 2 dinosaur tokens. It ramps you by giving your creatures mana tapping ability. It lets you tutor out a dinosaur, and then it gives your dinosaurs double strike and trample. So it does. There's a lot of stuff packed into this one card here. There are just a couple more new cards we'll look at, then we'll get into some of the reprints and some other kind of interesting things. Here's another mythic. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Maybe Ojer Axonil Deepest Might. 4 mana, legendary creature god. It's a 4/4 with trample. If a red source you control will deal an amount of non-combat damage less than this thing's power to an opponent, that source deals damage equal to this thing's power instead. So basically, if you play a shock, instead of doing 2 damage, you'll do 4 damage. So, you know, 4 damage for 1 mana, that's pretty good. Also, when it dies, you return it to the battlefield tapped and transformed under its owner's control. It transforms into Temple of Power, which is a land, taps for red, or you can pay 3 and tap it to transform it. Activate only if red sources you control dealt 4 or more non-combat damage this turn, and only as a sorcery. So it kind of never dies unless it gets exiled, because when it dies, it ramps you basically. This card seems really cool. I'm not exactly sure what kind of constructed deck this might fit into, but there are many Commander decks that it would be fine in. We've got a card that looks very similar to the Great Henge in basically the casting cost and how you cast it, because it's, you know, a 6 green legendary artifact that costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. It does some different stuff than the Great Henge though. It says, whenever 1 or more non-token creatures you control die, create a green fungus dinosaur creature token with base power toughness, each equal to the total power of those creatures. So basically, when a non-token creature you control dies, you get a token that's just as powerful as it, which seems pretty good. But then also you can pay 2 and tap this to double target creature's power until end of turn. So if you know one of your creatures is going to die, you can tap this, double the creature's power, and then the token that gets created is going to have basically twice as much power and toughness. And then one more new card. This one's just a rare. This is Breach's Eager Pillager. You can also see one of the showcase type of arts for Ixalan here. I think it looks pretty cool. I believe Breaches was originally in, what, Commander Legends, I think? This is a new version of it, though, so this is a Goblin Pirate 3/3 for 3. It has first strike. Whenever a pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. You can make a treasure token. You can say target creature can't block this turn. Or you can exile the top card of your library, and you can play it this turn. So this is a really powerful card. You know, a 3/3 for 3 with first strike is good. It counts for itself when it attacks, and you can get multiple triggers per turn. You just can't use the same trigger once per turn, or more than once per turn. But this seems like a very powerful card. I think this is actually quite good. So next we got our first look at some of the Jurassic Park cards. These are pretty interesting. They're, you know, basically what we've seen before for different kinds of properties for Universes Beyond and whatnot. But, you know, me being a fan of dinosaurs and also of Jurassic Park, I think they're pretty cool. So here's Ian Malcolm, Chaotician. So now you can have Jeff Goldblum on your Magic cards, which is pretty cool, right? So this is a 3 mana 2/2. It's 1 blue and red, so it's an Is It card. It's a legendary creature human scientist. It says, whenever a player draws their second card each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. During each player's turn, that player may cast a spell from among the cards they don't own exiled with Ian Malcolm Chaotician, and mana of any type can be spent to cast it. So, being, you know, Chaotician, that does make sense with what this card does. It is very chaotic. It's an interesting card. It's not one that I would see myself playing, but it's cool and interesting, if nothing else. This next one, with it being a dinosaur, is more my style, but it's too bad it can't go in the Gishath deck because it's Sultai colors. This is Indominus Rex Alpha. It costs 5 mana. 1 can be generic. Then you have hybrid blue and black twice, and then green. So it's a very strange mana cost, but basically 5 mana in Sultai colors. It's a legendary creature, dinosaur mutant. It's a 6/6. As it enters the battlefield, discard any number of creature cards. It enters with a flying counter on it if a card discarded this way has flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Hexproof, Haste, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace Reach, Trample, and Vigilance. When Indominus Rex enters the battlefield, draw a card for each counter on it. So basically, you draw a card for each of the cards that you would have discarded, but it's better than that though, because it just says draw a card for each counter on it. So if you can, you know, synergize with some other cards that would have it entering with counters on it, you can just get card advantage that way by drawing cards. So I think this is a pretty cool card. You know, it makes sense thematically with how the creature was created in the movie, and I think it's pretty cool. That's it for new cards. We're going to move on to some reprints now, and we're going to start off with a really good one. Right here, we've got Cavern of Souls reprinted in the set proper. That's pretty huge because I don't believe this has ever been reprinted in a standard set. It initially came out in Avacyn Restored as a rare, but ever since then, every time it's been reprinted, it's been a mythic in some kind of Masters or supplementary set. But here, Cavern of Souls is in the actual set. You'll be able to play this in Draft and in Standard even. It's a mythic, which makes sense, but it's really cool to see it in the actual set. You'll be able to open up Cavern of Souls in Draft boosters. So that's going to do a lot to bring down the price of this card. Also, you might notice that this card looks a bit different. That's because they're bringing back the neon ink style that you saw on the Hidetsugu thing in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So there are several variations of this. This is on multiple cards as well, I believe, but you have the, special neon ink style of the card, which is pretty cool. So that was a reprint in the set proper. We have some other reprints that are not in the set proper, and what I mean by that is you'll be able to open them in packs of Lost Caverns of Ixalan, but they're not actually from the set. So what they're doing now is they're introducing a new kind of the list, basically. What they're introducing are these special guest cards, which is kind of a reprint slot similar to the list, but they're supposed to be more powerful cards, ones that you might see in a Masters type of set, and they're starting it off with a bang with this card here, Mana Crypt. So you'll be able to open Mana Crypt in packs of Lost Caverns of Ixalan, however, not in draft packs. So I was reading the article about this set, and if I understand correctly, these special guest cards appear in only set boosters and collector boosters. In set boosters, you can open non-foil versions, but in collector boosters, you can get foil versions of these cards. That's if I'm understanding what I read correctly. But we are getting a reprint of Mana Crypt here, and you can see that it has the different variations of the neon ink on it. So I think that's pretty cool. You know, that's a pretty huge reprint to have in this set. We have another reprint here. This one, I believe, can appear as a box topper. I'm not exactly sure because you can see on the card it doesn't say special guest. But something was mentioned in the article about this being a box topper. But this is a pretty decent reprint too. This is Coercive Portal. This is the first time it's ever been reprinted in paper. This appeared in the first Conspiracy set, and we're getting it now as a mythic reprint. But it's a good card, it has value, and it has never been reprinted before, so we're seeing it again here for the first time. And right here we have another example of the special guest cards. This is Lord of Atlantis. This is a rare, so it's not a Mana Crypt, but it is a good card still. You know, it's a desirable rare. People play it, people want it for their Merfolk decks. You know, I don't even play Merfolk, but it's one that I wouldn't be unhappy to open in a pack. And we're going to move away from reprints now and go to something else new. Right here, you can see the style of the full art basic lands from this set. And I think these ones are pretty cool. I do like these ones a lot, actually, because they are true full art. They go all the way to the border. They have a unique art style. They all look individual. So this is the plains. Right here you've got the island, so there's no mistaking plains for island. With, there are some styles of full art basic lands, like maybe the Lord of the Rings ones or the Innistrad ones, where they all kind of look the same, but that's not the case for these ones. I think they all do look cool. Here's the swamp. I like this one as well. I like how they have a different variation on the mana symbols here as well. They've incorporated the Ixalan theme into the design of the mana symbol right there. We've got mountains. I think this mountain is pretty sweet. You know, with me playing a lot of mono red decks, I can see myself playing this in some of my decks. And then there's the forest right here as well. I think this one is also pretty cool. You know, I did the video recently of the tier list of the different full art basic land styles, and this one I probably would put this one in an A, I think. Like, I do like these ones quite a lot. So lots of cool stuff in this set. I've been excited for it for a while. I'm still excited for it, mostly because of dinosaurs, but even if you're not a fan of dinosaurs, it looks like there's cool stuff in this set regardless. And you can see here, this is the art for the draft booster box. I think this art is pretty cool. I like the lighting on this art quite a bit, actually, with the warm light coming from this fire here reflecting on the dinosaur. And then there's Quintorius here and Huatli. I think it's a pretty cool design for the draft booster box. Here you can see the design for the collector booster boxes. It's cool. I wouldn't say it's the best design that we've seen for collector booster boxes, but it's good. It's appealing. I like it. Then here, the set booster boxes. There's this cool flying bat thing here. Apparently 1 in 12 boosters include a Jurassic World card. And then one thing of note is it looks like we get the gift edition bundles. I don't believe every set comes with these, do they? Bundles come for every set, but I don't think that every set has a gift edition. But we do get a gift edition for this Ixalan set here. And I'm pretty sure all that means is basically you get a collector booster with it, but it's something, right? So that was our first look at the Lost Caverns of Ixalan. I'm pretty excited for this set. I'm looking forward to seeing some more spoilers. I'm following them pretty closely, and I imagine I'll probably make some more videos for this set. Looking out for more cards to go in Gishath right here. Anyway, though, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I'd encourage everyone to come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. Also, if you'd like to purchase any Magic cards, you can get those by going to facetofacegames.com here. They're the largest Magic store in Canada, and they also sponsor the channel. And if you use code 8th Place Dave at the checkout, you can save 5% on your order. Also, I'd like to thank all the patrons that support me on Patreon. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.